Sairam children, good morning. We'll continue with our chapter 7, Secrets. Look at this picture. So, who are they? They are 4 March sisters. Meg, Jo, Beth, Emmy. Right? Okay, and you can see the relation. What loving relation and all they are having. Sitting together, having a nice time, right? Okay. Look at this picture. This picture is that when Jo is going to that building and where she wanted to enter doorway and all, but she is moving towards the building, again moving away, like that. So strange behavior, odd behavior she was showing. Okay, now this is the gentleman who was watching her, then he was following her, right? And who was the gentleman? He was Laurie. So till here we have read last time. Now let's continue. Lesson 7, Secrets. Laurie kept at her till Jo shared her secret with him. Well, I have left 2 stories with a newspaper man, and he is to give his answer next week, whispered Jo. Hurrah for Miss March, yelled Laurie. So, what is the meaning of the word yelled? Yelled means shouted. That is, when we shout and all we speak. So he was happy because he was just asking again and again, persistently asking Laurie that why she has come here, or she has been to a dentist, or what was the secret. So she let out the secret, telling that the 2 stories she has left with the newspaper man, and he will give his answer next week. So he was so happy, and in excitement he said, hurrah for Miss March. For a week or 2 after that, Jo behaved so strangely that the sisters were quite confused. She rushed to the door when the postman rang and seemed to live in constant tension. Laurie and she were always making signs to one another till the girls declared that they had both lost their senses. Now here's a question, children, which you have to answer. Given what the circumstances actually were, do you consider Jo's behavior understandable? Yes, children. So, who were knowing the secret? Laurie. She has shared the secret with Laurie. And how her behavior was? Whenever the doorbell rang and all, she used to rush, because she was knowing that the postman will bring the newspaper, that is the result of what is the answer and all. So whenever the bell rang, she was the first to run. And she and Laurie were always having constant, you can say, communication or like that, with the signs and gestures. So they were knowing what it is. So it is understandable. But others were not knowing. So they were thinking that they had lost their senses. And Jo was in constant tension, because she was like when something she has done and she wanted to know the result. So some tension or some feeling we have, or excitement and all, or sometimes anxiety, anxiousness. So that is anxious she was. So this is the answer, personal response. You can answer according to your this. So this is, let's continue. On the second Saturday, Meg, as she sat sewing at her window, was shocked by the sight of Laurie chasing Jo all over the garden and finally capturing her near the trees. So, which day it is now? Second Saturday. And what Meg was doing? Meg was sewing at her window, but she was shocked at the sight. Why she was shocked? Which sight it was? Laurie chasing Jo all over the garden and finally capturing her near the trees. What shall we do with that girl? She never will behave like a young lady, sighed Meg as she watched the race with a disapproving look. I hope she won't. She's so funny and dear as she is, said Beth, who had never betrayed, that she was a little hurt about Joe having secrets with anyone but her. So, what the Mag was saying, that what should we do with the girl? Because her behavior and all, they didn't like it, they disapproved it. And what the Bet replied, she said she's funny. And she's dear also. And she has never betrayed. Betrayed means cheated or something like that. So she has not betrayed and all, or never kept secrets and all like that. It's very trying, but we never can make her understand, added Amy, who sat making some new frills for herself. In a few minutes, Jo bounced in and laid herself on the sofa and pretended to read. Have you ever read a story in a newspaper? Do you think it is a different kind of experience compared to reading them in books? So yes, children, now what Amy was doing? Amy was making some frills for herself. And then in a moment, what happened? In few minutes, Jo bounced in. Bounce means moving up and down or jumping like this. She bounced in, laid herself on the sofa. Okay, now children, this is a question you have to answer. Have you ever read a story in a newspaper? Stories we read in books. But in newspaper, and do you think it's a different kind of experience? So next time when you are reading the newspaper, read the stories also. And what is a different kind of experience? Have you anything interesting there? Asked Meg. Nothing but a story. Won't amount to much, I guess, returned Jo, carefully keeping the name of the paper out of sight. You would better read it aloud. That will amuse us and keep you out of mischief, said Amy in a most grown-up tone. So they asked her, what's interesting now? The newspaper and all, you're hiding it or you're reading and you're... So what she said, that is the story. So they asked her. That who said? Amy. Amy, she asked. They read the story loudly, that is aloud. And that also in a grown-up tone. So that it will keep her out of mischief. What's the name? Asked Beth, wondering why Jo kept her face behind the sheet. The Rival Painters. That sounds interesting. Read it, said Meg. With a long breath, Jo began to read very fast. The girls listened with interest, for the tale was romantic and somewhat pathetic, as most of the characters died in the end. So what is the name of the story? The Rival Painters. And so name itself says Rival Painters. With a long breath, Jo began to read very fast. And the girls, that is her sisters, will listen with interest. The tale means the story. The story was romantic, somewhat pathetic. Like you may have a feeling or sympathy for that, because as most of the characters died in the end. Here are some of the meanings. Disapproving, that is showing that one thinks someone or something is bad or wrong. Betrayed, showing feelings that one was trying to hide. Frill, a decoration that consists of a narrow piece of cloth that has. Sometimes the dresses and all you have frill. Pathetic, that which makes one feel pity or sympathy. I like that part about the splendid picture, was Emmy's approving remark as Jo paused. I prefer the tragic part. Viola and Angelo are two of our favorite names. Isn't that strange? Said Meg, wiping her eyes. Who wrote it? Asked Beth, who had caught a glimpse of Joe's face. So it was a, you can say, splendid picture. Splendid, what is the meaning? You can say excellent or beautiful, impressive. And tragic means where the ending is, like you say, sad ending and all. As we have seen, most of the characters, they died. So it is strange. Then Beth asked, who wrote it? Because she got a glimpse. Glimpse is just having a look of, or just you had a sight of. So she caught a glimpse of Joe's face. That is for a short time if you are looking at somebody. The reader suddenly sat up and cast away the paper, displaying a flushed face, and with a funny mixture of solemnity and excitement, replied in a loud voice, "Your sister." "You!" cried Meg, dropping her work. "It's very good," said M critically. That is, Emmy critically. "It's very good," said Emmy critically. Now what is the meaning of the word flushed? Flushed means red in the face. Sometimes we flush, that is a red in face. And solemnity, that is the quality of being serious in behavior or manner. "I knew it, I knew it. Oh, my Joe, I'm so proud." And Beth ran to hug her sister and exclaim over this splendid success. Dear me, how delighted they all were. To be sure, how Meg would not believe it till she saw the words Miss Josephine March actually printed in the paper. So they felt proud also for her sister. And Beth ran to hug her. Who ran? Beth. And they were so delighted and happy. Meg would not believe it. When she herself saw the name written, what was the name written? Miss Josephine March. Okay, this is a comprehension based on the passage we have read. Answer these questions with reference to the contest. There are two which I want to have out. Must I wait a week? Who is the speaker? So you have to choose, children. Laurie or Joe? Answer is, who is the speaker? Joe. She was saying that she has two. So, who is the speaker? Joe. What are the two that the speaker wants to have out? So now what are the two speaker is saying? The two are the couple of stories she has submitted to the newspaper man. So when Joe is telling speaker, she is saying about two, it is about the two couple of stories. Two are the couple of stories she has submitted to the newspaper man. Okay, now what does the listener think the two are? Who was the listener? Laurie. And the listener thinks that the two are a pair of Joe's teeth. What he thought, that she has been to the dentist to remove teeth or for that. So he was thinking that Joe's teeth she is talking about. Okay, this is the next reference to contest. What shall we do with that girl? She never will behave like a young lady. Now who said this? Who said this? Answer is Meg. Answer is Meg. Who is being referred to? So about whom she was saying that she never will behave like a young lady. So who is referred to? Joe. And who said these words? Meg. Why does the speaker say this? Why she said these words? Meg says this upon observing Laurie chasing Joe all over the garden. So this behavior she disapproved it. She didn't like it. So she said these words. Okay. Answer the following. How did Laurie manage to get Joe to tell him what she had done? So Laurie, how he managed? Laurie simply pestered Joe for so long that she had to tell him what she had done. So what's the meaning of the word pestered? Persistently or continuously, or you are asking somebody again and again. So Laurie simply pestered Joe for so long that she had to tell him what she had done. What did Amy ask Joe to do to keep herself out of mischief? Amy asked Joe to read her story aloud because she was pissed. That is, she was running the garden, Laurie chasing her. So all this behavior, they felt strange. So, and when she came, bounced on the sofa. So Amy asked Joe to read her story aloud. So what is the answer? What is the question? What did Amy ask Joe to do to keep herself out of mischief? Emmy asked Joe to read her story aloud. What was the name of the story? The name of the story was The Rival Painters. The name of the story was The Rival Painters. Okay, give the synonym of unusual. Unusual, strange. Unusual, strange. Give the past tense of make, made. So you have to write these answers, children. Make, made. So what is the spelling? M-A-D-E, made. Unusual, strange. Okay, she never will behave like a young lady. Pick out the adjective and state is kind. Sentences, she never will behave like a young lady. So we have done adjectives. What adjectives? Adjectives are the words that describe a noun or a pronoun. So here it is. Which is the adjective? Young, right? So adjective is young. And kind, adjective of quality. So you have to write your answer, children. Young dash adjective of quality. So we'll stop here and we'll continue in the next session. So read this part, at least read twice, children. Thank you. We'll continue in the next session. Sai Ram.